Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, listening to another edition of the Sports Hour with Ingle and Monali. Sitting in here this weekend, and good to be back with you after a couple of weeks off. I think Labor Day weekend, and then some cricket last weekend that we both were tied up with, and we now have some time. Probably a tournament that we want to forget, but we have to talk about it just due to our contractual obligations. But yes, Monali, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ingle. Thank you so much for having me back on, and welcome to all of you who are joining us.
Yes, Monali, I was up early this morning. I was up early because the World Athletics track and field started in Japan, Tokyo, and the time difference. So I got up and I decided I was going to watch. It's just, I knew that there was not going to be anything different happening, but I just wanted to see for myself. So we'll talk about that in a bit, but then we'll also talk about some CPL cricket with which is happening, getting down to the business end of it to get into the playoffs. And cricket, I mean, wow, England's record T20 ran over over a full member. Those scores, wow, what's happening to cricket now? It's
I,
ridiculous.
I can't say I'm a big fan of it, if I'm being honest, but
But the scores, I mean, entertainment is factors, I guess, is what people are looking for. And
yes.
so with that, we'll have to talk about it. But just want to start off with what I can say. Maybe you can call it the Blue Jays watch because the Blue Jays are 3 games ahead still with 15 games to go. And good thing for them is that the Yankees are playing the Mets, who are the two teams that are following them. So Blue Jays still 3 games ahead, and then now, sorry, not the Mets, the Boston Red Sox. So Boston Red Sox are 4.5 behind, and the Yankees beat them last night. The Blue Jays won last night as well. So good for the Blue Jays if they can keep winning and stay ahead. But you don't want them to just win now. You want them to carry that form
Yeah.
into the playoffs and World Series. So
They've
Blue
had quite the
Jays are
season,
big.
haven't they?
They have had quite a great season, and they're not winning by small margins when they win, but when they lose also. But they're playing this afternoon again at 3:07. Um, Orioles, they're hosting the Orioles, and I think the Yankees and Red Sox go at 4:10. So those two matchups we'll be keeping an eye on to see how it comes down to the wire with for the Blue Jays, and hopefully, as I said, they can win. We can have something to celebrate in the city this year because it's been a long time.
But since what was the last time we won the NBA finals? I
The
don't remember what
NBA
year.
Finals must have been in 20. Not sure. Maybe 2015,
2019.
2019. Oh, okay.
2019. Wow,
2019.
it's been 6 years.
6 years, yeah. 6 years since we had something to celebrate,
Yeah,
and
feels like two
Blue.
years ago.
I felt like longer to me, but yeah, 6 years. And the Blue Jays, when last did they win? I think was 1993. Every year we love to say Toronto, this is our year. It never happened. But let's just hope this time. Yeah. Great something. Um, so we'll follow the Blue Jays and update you each week as to how they progress. We will start with the 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 Red Sox, but I think the Yankees are the this was the
Sorry, Engel. I think. we've lost audio. It's very muffled.
Oh wow, sorry,
Oh, you're
you're
back
not hearing
now.
me clearly.
You're back now.
Okay, it's probably just connection. Sorry, wire probably got loose, and that's probably the reason. So yeah, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, and I was saying that the Blue Jays, we're hoping that they can continue the consistency and just win this championship, and that we will celebrate at the end of the season. The team that's closest to them, the Yankees, are probably the best chance to catch them, but we don't want to see that, and we want them to win the AL East, hopefully. And that would be the first celebration, just winning the AL East.
How many games did they play in this round?
In baseball, they play 162 games.
Okay. Oh, so
So,
they've still got a long way to
so
go.
got about 15 games left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anything can happen in those 15 games, but
Yeah.
so you want them to keep winning. And the Yankees, well, Yankees are Boston. Whoever wins get a step closer, but if the Blue Jays keep winning, then they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for.
It was a big win yesterday too, wasn't it? It was
Well,
massive.
6-1. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was massive. So then that's how we hope that they will continue on that. We wanted to also get you go back a bit. I'm not sure if we can play the clip, but we wanted to go back and play the clip to talk about the U.S. Open and the women's first. Sabalenka winning that championship.
Mhm.
And any thoughts on that? Were you surprised?
I wasn't, if I'm being honest. I know we had this conversation uh, a
Mm,
few days before, and you still thought Swiatek had a chance. She was going to get in the
yes,
final. I had a feeling the way Sabalenka has been playing, and just something about the way her confidence looked. She looked like she was going to take this one.
yes. She played very well, and yeah, I was thinking that I know that Swiatek, once she get into a final, she has a chance. She's never lost. So I was thinking that she was gonna get there, but she was beaten by the eventual loser, who was Anisimova. She was beaten by her, and I was looking for tougher game actually in the finals. Or
Mhm.
maybe I knew that Sabalenka was gonna win once she got there, but I was still looking for maybe some more excitement. The three set, the second set was pretty good. It was 6-3 and then 7-6, but Sabalenka proved too much for her in the end.
Yeah,
And
she was able to dominate it pretty, but that goes for the men's too, wasn't it? I was hoping for more of an even contest in the men's, and it was pretty one-sided throughout it.
it was. Well, we discussed the menu, and I had a chat about that, and I told you my thoughts. I wanted to,
You did.
um, I did want. I'm not gonna shed a tear for, but I was happy to see um, Alcaraz win. But as you said, yeah, I didn't expect it to be so dominant. I thought it
Yeah.
was going to be closer. Sinner is such a good player that I expected maybe we're going to have a 5-set thriller. But
Hmm.
and the tennis though, and going back to that, it was some frustrations for the fans because the U.S. president attended, and fans said they had to wait up to 2 hours because of security checks to get into the stadium. So I
And
mean,
the
it's not
lineups
usually that
were,
much.
yeah, the lineups outside were incredible, and the game had already started.
Yeah,
This is why politics shouldn't mix with sport, isn't it? Let's keep
it
the two
is
separate.
correct. Yeah, and then it's recently the president has been going to a lot of sporting events because he went to a Yankees game also. So and yeah, but going back to the tennis, I think you pay top dollar for
Mhm.
these seats, and then you have to wait and miss some of the game. You went there expecting, okay, this is the normal time to get there and get inside, not to wait for 2 hours to get in, and
Yeah.
then you miss part of the game. So Definitely. With frustration, I wouldn't be surprised that some of the players ask back for their a refund, but I mean, some of the fans ask for a refund, but who knows? Good to see the tenant. Go ahead.
I did want to ask, so in that final, I
Mhm.
personally felt that Sinner looked very tired.
He did, yes.
And I want your opinion on this because there's so many tournaments that the players are now playing. Do you think it's worth it for them to say, you know what, I'm gonna sit a couple out and try and be fresh? Because I felt that he looked not only tired, but he looked just out of it. There was no coming back from the way Alcaraz was playing that game. He was well and truly in control of that game from the time that it started. It was, I mean, the fact that he eventually ended up winning one set was it was a surprise because it didn't look like he was going to be able to pull through it all. He couldn't find the lines on the court. He was missing by margins. So I feel like it's a lot of tennis and picking and choosing. I don't know how workload management works though in
Yeah,
tennis.
you're correct. And he actually pulled out of a finals just leading up to the U.S. Open
Yeah, yeah.
because he thought the workload. But and if you go back at leading up to his finals, he had a pretty tough semifinal with Felix Auger Aliassime.
Yeah.
Um, Aliassime, or how he was trying to teach people how to pronounce his name the other day. It was funny, but because but I just say Felix. He said just say Felix, or FA, and he said that's it, okay. So Sinner, yeah, he had a four set there, and Alcaraz on the other hand, a pretty easy semifinals over Djokovic, who I don't think Djokovic can compete, but he still has his sights set on winning another championship, a major. But I don't know if that will probably be one of those fluke things. I don't see
Mm.
him. He's not. He's getting up there in age. He is. I don't see him winning, but he still thinks he can win. So, but yeah, I think yes, you're correct. And when you say workload management is not easy,
Yeah.
and yeah, he looked very tired. He didn't look himself.
Yeah, he didn't. And but on the flip side, Alcaraz looked
He
he
looked fit.
he came with a confidence
Yes,
that you had that feeling that he was going to dominate that
he
game.
looked. Yeah, he looked fit. He looked ready for it. The first set was so easy, and then he just looked like he, as you said, he was ready for the game and he wanted it more than anything else. And maybe he just wanted to win in front of the president. But the thing is that some of the reactions of the presidents, because they just showed little reactions, but
Yeah.
after to win, he didn't seem too happy. I don't know if he was back in Sinner, but
I mean, I don't know if he was backing either of them. Didn't he say something at the US Open or about the US Open that it, the tournament's called US Open, but trust me, the US is not open.
yeah, so
Or
that's what,
something
yeah,
like
something like that. Yeah, it's he must get in his little things, but
yeah, of course. I
yeah,
mean, I know this is a sports talk show, but his involvement in the recent events that have happened in the US have really surprised me.
yes, has surprised definitely. Um, yeah, so I think most of the players they don't get much of a rest as you're talking about workload management because their tournaments. I think they're off to Japan, and there are other tournaments going on, so not a lot of rest for these players, and they're right back at it. So
And it's time on
definitely,
the road too, isn't it? It's always on the go. It's travel on the
it's
road.
travel on the road. Yes.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know if you're listening to the speeches after where Alcaraz joked that he sees Sinner more than his family.
Which is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're always traveling. They're always going to run into each other at these tournaments. And
Then they play finals together most of the time. So
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, so you're listening to the Sports Hour with England Monali on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. And Monali, I can just give some quick scores from this morning in the this early morning game. Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest none, and that's nil. That's in the English Premier League. The match is ongoing now, just in the first quarter, first 15 minutes or so. Is Bournemouth and Brighton Hove Albion, Crystal Palace, Sunderland, Everton 0-0, Arsenal, Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, and Wolverhampton Wanderers. All those games are 0-0. West Ham United play Tottenham Hotspurs in the late game. And tomorrow you have Burnley and Liverpool and Manchester City and Manchester United. So the Battle of the Manchesters very early on. And we know who Theo is rooting for. So, but in terms of tables, nothing much to it. Early in the season, Arsenal 9 with 4 games, Liverpool 9, Chelsea 7, Everton 7. So nothing to talk about. A lot of games left still. 36, 32 games left in the season still. So
Yeah.
not much to talk about there. If you, I'm not sure if you follow the golf, and I guess all players are just playing this weekend in the PGA Tour. They get basically playing in BMW just to get ready for the upcoming USA and Europe championships. So I think that's what everybody's looking forward to. So just tuning up, getting ready for the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup is one of the biggest things around. You remember the Europe won the last one, so US looking for some revenge this time around. So players are just having a good time. A lot of good time because you always want to win, and we'll, we will follow the Ryder Cup once it starts. I wanted to get back on something with tennis because something I wanted to talk to you about, which is a discussion I think I heard uh, was had at King City about pay for women, and the U.S. Open, both winners got 5 million
Yeah.
each, which is good. But
Yeah.
in many other sports, you don't. And but the other thing that because of the U.S. tax rules, they actually only took home about 3 million. So it's a lot of taxes in the U.S. So. But Alcaraz, because of the Brazilian rules, I'm not sure with Sabalenka, but Alcaraz, because of Brazilian rules, he don't have to pay any further taxes. So he's
Mm.
lucky. So it's actually about, when I saw the breakdown, about 1.85 million in taxes, and then money's paid out to their caddies and different people. Then
Mm.
they take home about, I mean, not the trainers and different
Their
people.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they take home about that amount. So yeah, it's I mean, so everyone looks and say, "Great, 5 million," but Uncle Sam takes.
How much of it do you actually walk away
Yeah,
with? Yeah.
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 That was an argument some years back, and I think the Australian Open players argued that they shouldn't be taxed there.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because if you're not a resident, if you're not a citizen of that country, if you're not a resident of that country,
Yeah.
then should you be paying the taxes in that country? But I suppose, yeah, I don't really know how much of that you can evade depending on what the country's rules are. At the end of the day, as the athlete, you're always going to have the expenses of your team, whether it's your trainers, your coaches. That is understandable, but that's a lot of tax. I
Mhm.
remember that conversation because I think I was having that conversation with a couple other players about the equal play or equal pay discussion. And I think tennis is one of those sports where I still feel like viewership is fairly even with the men's and the women's. And I feel
Mhm.
like the women's the women's viewership generates a fairly similar amount of revenue that the men's does.
Mhm.
And that's not always the case with other sports. So, I can understand that there's some pushback on other sports, but tennis for me is one of those sports where I think based on viewership and based on the income that the women's game generates, it's pretty close. And I know there's always going to be arguments. Well, why do you not play? You know, the same number of sets, at least in the Grand Slams, whichever it is. But
Yeah,
I,
it's it's yeah,
it's a
that thing about the
debate that
sets.
I
I like the yeah, I think I like the two sets for the women, and the men's can get very long. Three sets is good, but
yeah,
the men can
yeah.
get yeah, yeah. So I think that yeah, so I think I don't mind they playing the three sets and getting the same amount of money. As you said, they generate the same, even
Yeah,
maybe even more in some cases. 'Cause I know a lot of people prefer watching the women's game
yeah.
than they do the men's. So yeah, they may even generate more money, just about the same as you said. So there's also this debate, Ariana Sabalenka and Kyrgios. They want to have a game, and she's saying she'll beat him. And there's some back and forth between them, war of words, and she's not holding back. She said she's going to beat him. And what do you
I don't
think? Is she,
remember the player back in the day who did that because I guess
Billie
the
Jean
female
King?
tennis player
It was
initiated
Billie Jean.
pay and everything.
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah,
remember?
it was Billie Jean King who played against. I can't remember who was the male player. She played a
Yeah,
male, but she
yeah.
played a male. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I'm not sure. Yeah, but these two have been going at it, and they're not holding back their thoughts. Uh,
I say let him have it. Let's see how it goes.
well, I'm just seeing here that Yannick Noah actually defeated a 20 Justin Henin in 2003. He was 43 and she was 21. And Joe Djokovic played Lena in a mini exhibition in the Beijing Open in 2013, which she won 3-2.
Billie Jean King. That match was against Bobby Riggs,
Okay, yeah,
1973.
that's right. So it's been going back for a long time.
Yeah, Battle of the Sexes. Can you imagine?
Yeah, so Sabalenka actually said recently that she's putting so much pressure on him right now. She hope he just withdraws from the feeling all the pressure. So it's going to be interesting to see if this really happens. We know Kyrgios is very outspoken. You don't think the women are as good. You don't think, and this all came about because of the equal pay debate. So
So I just did a quick Google check, and women's tennis has 17% more viewership than men's tennis.
no surprise there.
Yeah.
So they deserve it. So
Someone asked me the question, um, do you think we should have co-ed cricket? And at the international level.
mhm.
And I always have an issue with comparing men's and women's cricket. I feel like they're two completely different sports, believe it or not. I think between, the ball size, between the field size, between the overall structure of the two genders, it's a different ball game altogether. And I feel like the idea of it is interesting. I think from a safety perspective, that's right. I feel like we'll have a question mark there.
Yes, it's yeah. Cricket is different from safety, as you said. But probably that's a good segue into the track and field, and we can talk about the mixed races because I just watched the mixed 4x400 relay, and the World Athletics have decided that the men must run with the men. But Atto Bolden was saying, listen, the teams should be allowed to put whoever they want in which leg.
Hmm.
I don't know what your thoughts on that because it might be just if you, I mean, it may even out in the end, but at the moment the men has to start off and the women finish, and USA finished and won Actually, I think it was just too much for Netherlands to catch him. Normally, Femke Bol anchors for the US and usually catches whoever is in front, but the US had such a big lead
Yeah.
that they just won that quite easily. So I don't know what's your thoughts on just allowing the teams to just al- whoever wants to
Whatever they
run.
want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think I'm pretty open for that actually. I mean, you can come up with your makeup and your numbering of the athletes the way you want them. It does it should it matter? Isn't it who crosses over the line at the end of it anyway?
it's who crosses over the line, but I guess some people are feeling that the women may not be able to run with the men and probably get so far ahead that. But as you said, I believe it evens out in the end. So I really don't. I
And
think they can allow maybe just that experiment with it then and see what happens.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because it probably will be more exciting actually, because the fans will be thinking, okay, well, this team is way ahead, but then
yeah. And then you play catch up,
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah. So maybe something like that can be looked at. But some other results from the track and field, world track and field, no surprises in the 10,000 as world record holder Beatrice Chebet. She won the 10,000. It's a 1-2 battle. Let's see, she won. She was second, same as the Olympics, 1 and 2, and Sagai, she was third. So basically, Chebet was just staying with them. When I watched the race, she just stayed with them, and she knew she had the kick to finish. So it wasn't gonna. Once she was with them in the last lap, then she knew she was going to win, and that was such a win. She didn't. She looked like she can run some more. I mean, it's a 10,000 30 around. She ran it in 30 minutes, 37:61. That's quite a bit of running. So, but she looked very fit and didn't look like she would bother at all.
did you do track and field?
I did. I did. I had a record that just actually recently broken. When I said recently, within the
Oh
last 10 years in high school, which I didn't know. I actually when happened to go to a track and field meet at the high school, and one of the teachers came to me and said, "Do you know you still have the high jump record for class 3 boys?" And I said, "No, I had no idea."
no, high jump. So that was your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, high jump. I actually did 100 meters and 200 as well, but high jump and long jump. But back then you did everything more or less.
Back then you
So,
did everything. Yeah, I did 100 and 200 meter in Kenya and then up to grade 10 here.
hmm
And then my genetics let me down from there on. So I had to find something else.
I actually, when I came to Canada first, I did some training. I trained with my cousin Desai and Ben Johnson and those guys for a while, but then
Oh,
I said, you know what? This is not what I want to do. It's a lot of work, a lot of discipline. I preferred playing soccer at the time, so I
yeah,
ended up playing more soccer and then cricket as well.
yeah,
But more soccer than I did cricket at that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now you do cricket full time.
Now cricket full time. Well, I guess whatever God had that's in mind for me to do it, that's where it ended up.
It's true, isn't it? We don't
Yeah.
control all of these
But
things, they just sort of
no,
fall
no.
into place.
Sometimes I think back on my life and say, why did I end up with cricket? Of all things, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's how it is. So back to the track and field results. If the shot put actually, which was interesting also, I watched that Ryan Krause of the USA, no surprise, 22:34, season's best. He didn't. It must be season best because he didn't throw competitively for the year and then to come in the World Championship
Hmm.
and win. Munoz from Mexico was second. Tom Walsh of New Zealand was actually fourth. He was. I don't know how they figured this out because him and maybe it's the number of throws because Fabry was third with the same distance, but I think maybe it's the number of throws that he took to get to that distance for there. So it was actually interesting watching. I was up since about 5:45 watching track and field, and it's just something that I like when it's come to these championships. I probably won't do it for a regular track and field. When it comes to world championships and Olympics, we tend to get up and watch.
Yeah.
In
It's
the
nice when you have the luxury to be able to watch.
yes,
I, I wish I used to watch a lot of track and field growing up,
hmm
and yeah, it's a little complicated now with the kids. Just not
I
enough
can
time.
imagine. You need to get as much rest as possible more than anything else. I'm sure.
You know what? Now it's deciding between do I want to sit and watch or do I want to go out for a run and squeeze in a workout. So
hmm
um, the workout tends to win these days.
Good. Yeah, I saw some of your workout tapes. Definitely. Your videos of your morning workouts, which is good. And
Yeah,
yeah,
you know, it's therapy. It's therapy away from whatever's happening indoors.
right.
Just some
You get
solo
out there.
time.
Yes, for sure. If you look at the other things that happened this morning, which no big surprises, all the expected people came through. It was 100-meter men and women heats. Julian Alfred had the fastest time. I don't think you want to read anything into that because most of the athletes just slowed down coming to the end. But she did the same, but she was good. Jill Darrenita was good from Great Britain. Happy to see Shakari Richardson get through as well. She had a win over Sharika Jackson in her heat. And Shelly Ann Fraser at 38, still going. She's going to be 39 in December, and she is in the semifinals. So for Jamaica, Tina Clayton is there. Her sister Tia was at the Olympics last time she qualified. So not a bit of not she's not here at this World Championship. She didn't qualify, but not a lot of surprises there at all for these. And I think those who are expected to get to the semifinals are there. And the semifinals and finals tomorrow night. So tomorrow morning, our time. If you have time to watch that, I think it's going to be fantastic. They're going to end with 100 meters men. But during the men's side, as I said, nobody's surprising. Oblique Seville, he had to do some work, which was surprising. He still ran 993, but he was like, he was in shock because he was at the line when everybody else was gone. And he had to work hard to get his third place, which he actually, third place, the top three went through. But on the other hand, Tobago, Akeem Blake, the other Jamaican, Kishane Thompson, who everyone expects, he's a favorite. But once there's Noah Lyles in the race, then you never know. And Noah Lyles, he talks a lot. So if you ever watch him, and afterwards he said he feels good. His start is good and it's getting better. So if he gets a good start, because he's not known for a good start,
Hmm.
then it's going to be a good race. It's going to be a good race all around anyway, because it's going to be him, Bednarik, who they don't seem to like each other, both Americans, and Kishane Thompson. Those guys are the ones you got. Oblique Seville too. What Atto Bolden was saying is that he normally breezes through the initial rounds and then falter in the finals, but this time he faltered in the initial rounds, so maybe it's a good sign. He's thinking, but I'm not sure. But looking forward to the track and field. It's sometimes I don't know if you ever think like, why do they just have the track and field first, and then it's almost like a couple of days of nothing special, and then I don't know. I just think that
I
well,
think maybe because you are more drawn to it. I'm sure there are other people drawn to the other events as well.
maybe, yeah.
I think so, maybe.
Probably, yeah, because the field events, like I'm not big into the heptathlons and
Yeah,
those and
the
decathlons,
long races.
yeah, and the long races. So yeah, but to me, it's like I've got the first 2 days, it's fine. Then I have a lull in between, and then I go back and watch the relays. So yeah, maybe I'm drawn to the sprints more.
Yeah,
And
but those some of those races are so grueling, aren't they?
yeah,
They are they are grueling to watch, and the training alone, I can only imagine. Just so many different disciplines that you have to be good at.
you do. You're listening to Sports Hour with Ingle and Manali on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. Manali, we're going to switch over and talk some cricket. Asia Cup. I don't know if you've been watching any of the Asia Cup. Some of the matches very one-sided, but good for the teams to get exposure and some cricket against the top teams in the world.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised to see some of the scores. If anything, I was a little bit disappointed to see that Pakistan only managed 160 yesterday. I thought they would have been able to get
Hmm.
more on the board in their 20. But 100% right, this is exposure for teams like Qatar, teams like Oman, who don't necessarily get to play this level of competition. Also brings us to that discussion that we were having last, well, I guess 3 weeks ago now, about how Canada and US desperately need to be playing against full members like this. We just don't have that exposure.
Yes.
And
Yeah. This.
there was a discussion of that on Cricket Info as well recently about
Hmm.
how these teams come in and they surprise us every 4 years at a World Cup, but there's nothing that's done for them in between those 4 years to actually get them to be competing at that level and winning at that level more consistently.
Yes, I saw that, and they were actually talking about the US beating Pakistan in the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
But then,
Yeah.
how many matches have USA played against full members? And the
Hmm.
answer was zero, none.
Yeah.
So that's not good. So it's a good spectacle for the sport during the World Cup, but then
Yeah.
it's not developing the sport, and that's something I always say too. I mean, like, do the full members really want the other associates to get developed, or is it just a good look for every 4 years or every 2 years in the case of the T20? And
Yeah.
every 4 years in the 50 over. But
Yeah.
people talk about it, but the full members don't play enough cricket. But
Yeah.
happy to see the Asia Cup. I mean, teams like Hong Kong getting to play these
Mhm.
top teams. I mean, but I agree with you too. Going back to that game with Pakistan, I thought they should have scored more, but they said it's a rebuilding team. So, but still, 160 against Oman. I expected a lot more.
Yeah,
67.
you just expect them to be more dominant, don't you? And it's not to say anything against Oman or to say that they're not at that level. But the fact is, a Pakistan who has been a full member for so long, 160 is a pretty mediocre score in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. And the first game I watched was the UAE versus India, and that was a bit, I mean, it was one. I thought actually UAE would do better because they had a good start.
Yeah.
And both openers got double figures, but then after that, nothing.
Yeah.
Surprised that actually India played Bumrah in that game. Maybe it's that they wanted him to get into some form, some practice or something, but I didn't expect a guy like Bumrah to play. And I
To
think someone from Pakistan actually made a comment saying, "Why is Bumrah playing that?"
he did only bowl he bowled 3 overs of his four.
Hello,
Um,
about
I
three,
suppose
right?
the
Yeah.
workload is so much shorter too, isn't it, in the T20 format? So come in, he bowled 3 overs, could have bowled his four, but maybe it is a rhythm thing, just come in, get an early bowl,
Hmm.
get an early, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Just not exposure necessarily, but try and see if you can find that rhythm early in the tournament.
Probably, yeah. I think this one's. I think so. I think he was just trying to get rhythm, get some bowling in because he hasn't done much of that recently. So I think it's probably just to get him in to get into
Hmm.
match play. And most of the teams, I mean, they want to get the teams out early and get over with it, especially show their dominance, which India did because they got their 61 and 60 and 4.3.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Asia Cup. But as I said, I guess the matchups for these teams are going to be Pakistan and India. Well, I was reading something. Is that game coming this weekend? Is it? Because I was reading something that no one has bought. The tickets are not sold yet because people are not sure it's going to happen.
Well, I don't.
Because I think,
I've seen some news this morning as well. There's just a lot of comments being thrown back and forth and calling for boycotts between the India-Pakistan clash. So as a fan who wants to go watch the game, I don't blame them. But I'm just looking at this
mhm.
Bangladesh Sri Lanka score at the moment, and Bangladesh is none for two after 1.4 overs.
Bangladesh.
You know
Wow.
what, I want to say I've seen that score before in two
Yes.
deliveries very
Recently,
recently.
very. They have, yeah. That's they've done it in 2 overs though.
They've done better
They
than.
won. Yeah, but they have Bangladesh supposed to be a decent team. They're rebuilding from what I saw. I watched a bit of their game, and it's a new look team, a new captain. They
Mhm.
talk very highly of these two new openers, but how they're aggressive and they give you a great start. But both are gone for naught. So
Just not today.
it's going
Today's
to
not
be
their day.
Liton Das down to Liton Das again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they played Sri Lanka recently, I think, in a couple of matches. So
Hmm.
they should know each other quite a bit. But both, I think teams are now using this Asia Cup to try and see how they can get the best combination. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I, they will bounce back. They wouldn't get pulled out for under 100. I'm hoping. It's
Uh-huh.
yeah,
See, even
but
even top
I don't.
sides have bad days.
Oh, you know what? T20 cricket, I think 50 over is different, but T20 cricket, I think now any team can
Hmm.
actually do well on any
Yeah.
given day. I
Yeah.
mean, as an example is USA beating Pakistan. So you've
Yeah.
seen other teams that, and in the Asia Cup for me, I believe that Afghanistan may surprise a few of those teams,
Yeah.
and I'm
They've
expecting them to
really
get to the
come
finals
up,
in the
haven't
group.
they?
They have.
Afghanistan's really surprised over the years. I shouldn't say surprised, but they've made quick work, short strides of where they've gotten to.
Is Sri Lanka the defending champions for Asia Cup in the T20 format? I think they are, right? India, the 50 over format, but since they changed to T20, I think Sri Lanka might have won it.
Yeah, they're
Because I
doing well,
remember, yes, they are doing well.
being
And
on top of that defense.
yeah, they are. So we'll keep an eye on their Asian Cup and we'll have some results and winners by next week, hopefully. But we wanted to switch a bit to CPL and CPL Guyana. Well, I think the teams in the CPL, I think the teams are just basically St. Kitts is there with 8 points with Guyana, but Guyana have 2 games to play, so you
Mhm.
can very well send. They're home, St. Lucia Kings at 11 o'clock in a few minutes' time, and then they play Barbados Royals, who are in last place tomorrow at 7 p.m. And even it's gonna take a lot because they have a .361 run
Mhm.
rate, whereas St. Kitts has a .110, the 8 points. I think the top four, it's just a matter if Guyana is going to win the next two to get ahead of Antigua Falcons, so who plays who. But actually, Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, first time ever get into the playoffs. And I think that's good for them. Don't know if you
Just
watched a lot of the CPL, but the competition, there's a lot of chatter among my friends on social media thinking that the quality of the cricket was so poor. I don't know if you've seen a lot of it.
I have watched a couple of games. I've watched a few games, and um, I would agree with it. I feel like the entertainment value is taking precedence over the actual value of the cricket. But if I'm being completely honest, I'm finding that across the board for a lot of franchise cricket. It's not just the CPL.
Hmm.
Um, I think the only place that I don't really see it happening as much is the IPL. Maybe it's because of the bigger price tags. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the IPL, the players will put their bodies on the line for anything.
Hmm.
But I don't see the same sort of commitment, and I don't see the same sort of plays in a lot of the other franchise leagues.
And you're correct because I was speaking to someone who's quite involved, and he's saying players nowadays are just talking about how many franchise matches
Yeah,
leagues they can play with and how much money they'll make by playing. 'Cause especially if they don't get picked up by the IPL. If they get the IPL, then these are really bonus.
hmm,
And I think you talked about player load management, and this is something especially because you're playing. Some are still playing for their national team, their countries, and all these franchises all over. You cannot perform at the top level doing
no,
that. You don't have time to work on your game, and it's been seen. A guy like I was watching Senkits play a couple of times, and Kyle Mayers, he just looks a totally different player. He looks so much out of sorts, like he can't bat anymore. He might give you a good knock now and again, but
yeah.
can't
I
sustain.
find that goes with fitness too, though. I feel like some of these players who are just hopping from franchise to franchise don't work on their fitness as they would anymore, as they would if they were
Hmm.
part of a national program anymore. And part of it is because, well, I'm gonna try and do the bare minimum to try get from tournament to tournament. And a couple of decent scores means, you're still top of mind for team owners. And if I'm being completely honest, it's not even about performance sometimes. Players are being selected just based on, who are we gonna have a good time golfing with?
Yes,
Day off, right?
and then look at the agents close to this person, and
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of that happens. You're so right. It's not about. It's
But
unfortunate, but that's how it is.
I must say, to the credit of associate players in franchise setups, I feel like associate players still have to put in that extra bit of effort because they
Hmm.
don't come in with that um, like golden spoon, I suppose, of being a full member player and having a guaranteed in. I feel like associate players still have to put in the work on the field and make sure that they create that name for themselves to then be looked at for future tournaments. So I have noticed if you're comparing your associates to your full members, I feel like the associates, you will still see them put in the effort on the field.
Yeah, I totally
They
agree
still
with
have that
you.
point to prove.
I totally agree because yeah, it's the associates got to work a little harder, and they need to do that. But yeah, a lot of the players know that they're just gonna get selected no matter what, and
Hmm.
then they do just enough. Like a guy like Riley Russo has been going around for a bit. He got dropped eventually on the
Hmm.
last game, but he's only scored 91 runs for the season
Yeah,
at an average of 13. But he's gonna get selected again
yeah,
because of the reputation. And as you said, who's gonna hang out with who on the off day to play golf or whatever else they have
yeah,
to do, and it's about the social part of it is just as important as what you do on
exactly.
the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the end for the CPL is gonna wrap up tomorrow, and then I don't think anyone can. We've got Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders. They have 12. St. Lucia Kings actually have 12 points. They have a better run rate.
Mhm.
Trinidad have 12 points, Antigua 11. So it's just a matter of Guyana getting in there and who plays who in
Yeah.
the playoffs. And I think tomorrow we'll have a better picture of that. But Guyana again hosting the finals, semifinals, and finals for the last time because it moves over to Barbados next year. But Guyana's doing a wonderful job in trying to push cricket. I was listening to an interview with the Prime Minister, or President, sorry, President of Guyana. They have a different system of President and Prime Minister. The President was speaking there, then he's saying how much he's going to be doing for cricket. And that's why he has the Super League. And he's also building academies there because he said for him, he wants to see West Indies cricket getting back to a good, decent, competitive level. And
Yeah.
for him, he thinks the time is now. And if they lose this window, then they would be gone.
They'll be too far behind. Yeah. And playing catch up
Mm.
is very difficult.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's just like if the players don't train hard, then you don't get the results. And
Yeah.
that's definitely what's happening. I think when players are playing, they only want to bat for 10 minutes because they know that's what I only need to face 25, 30 balls in a franchise game, and I'm good. And that's what happened. We've got about 3 minutes because we have to wrap up early. So um, I think we have to, it's not, 3 minutes, talk about League Two matches at Canada playing at home not getting a win, which is disappointing because if you're playing at home, you want to get a win. I was part of it, so I'll let you talk about it more. As Yeah, but I think that unfortunately, you know, again, my belief is that players focus too much on T20 cricket, not enough on 50 overs. When I go through the stats and see how many players have played in their local league at 50 overs, I don't see a lot of them playing more than 10 matches, not
And
even
I
10
think,
matches.
yeah, and I think that is one of the reasons why we are struggling at the 50 over format. Our players are not getting enough exposure. I mean, back in the day when we had the 4 day games, we had the 2 day structure
Mhm.
locally as well. That was able to help that longer format of the game. But now with the introduction of T20 cricket, it seems 50 over cricket's also gone in the back burner. We lost 2 day cricket. Fair enough, no one's really trying for the test status anymore. But your 50 over cricket's still your bread and butter, and we got to remember that.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe something that we need to look at in saying, okay, if you want to be considered for selections, you have to play an X number of 50 over games throughout the season to be able to get considered for selections. I don't know how else we can try and implement that.
No, you're totally correct because if you look back at the successes that we had
Yeah.
prior to the success in UAE when it started, Canada went to Hong Kong and then Nepal. Yes, we lost a lot of those matches, but you were getting match time and
Hmm.
getting prepared. So the players started to peak at the right time.
Yeah.
And then the home series last year, most of the guys were playing 50 overs, Super Nines, BDCL, whatever league they played in Edmonton, BC. But now every week there is a T20 tournament,
But
and those guys are asked to play and they're running behind it, and you can't blame them because they could get paid well. Right? And a sportsman's life is not long, so they figure we're gonna make some money.
yeah, it's a battle, isn't it? It's a battle between choosing, well, I need the money, I need, I've got bills to pay, and then the flip side is, well, if I am required for my national duties on the team, then I have to be ready for it. At the end of the day, it is a completely different format. It is a mental adjustment, it's a physical adjustment. It comes down to fitness too, isn't it? We were just talking about Bumrah bowling his 3 overs out of 4.
Hmm.
It's a T20, not the same amount of fitness levels you'd require, not the same amount of load on the body. But 50 over cricket, you look at some of our pacers and you can see they are completely out of steam after 4 overs.
You can
And
see
so now
that.
if the captain's thinking, could I get 2 more overs out of you? You
Hmm.
can't. There's no steam left in that, right?
Definitely. And the amount of time they spend on the physio's table, wow, it's ridiculous. But we're out of time, Manali, because we have to end 5 minutes early today. Um, Thank you for joining. Thanks for listening. And enjoy the rest of the weekend and be safe, everyone.